Okay, so I'm trying a new dish. Cutting up my turnip. So I got a turnip cut up. I cut up a rutabaga, and I cut up a beet. So all root vegetables. So I'm going to compost the remaining part of my cut here. And I've got my crock pot that's full of turnip, rutabaga, beets, mushrooms, and lamb. All of that's in here. I've never made this dish before, but I'm trying to be creative with my 120 days of no sugar. And so this is what I'm doing. So I'm gonna put it all in a crock pot, and I'm gonna season it with turmeric and sea salt, cracked pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, coconut aminos, and I don't know what else I'm gonna find in there. But this is the kicker. I'm also gonna add an onion and some fresh kale. I know, my taste buds be wilding out, y'all. But I'm gonna try it. Just got out of the pool. That's why I'm in my swimsuit still. And trying to do all of this before I go to work, which I have to be at work in just a little bit. But nevertheless, got some sea salt. I've got some ground turmeric. I've got some granulated garlic. I've got some onion powder. Let me see, I'm gonna do some black pepper as well. And this one is salt and pepper blend, and featuring Spice Genius. Spice Genius is gonna kick this over the edge. So I'm gonna do some coconut aminos in here too. Coconut aminos, y'all, save my life. They give me so much of a richer flavor to my food, enhancing it. And so this is my favorite brand. So that's what I'm gonna use in there to kind of liquefy. But I'm not gonna add any water at all, because all of these vegetables have water of their own. And they are going to season each other. They're gonna partner together to make this dish beautiful and amazing and tasteful and flavorful. So remember, I have the beets, organic, a rutabaga, organic, a turnip root, some portobello baby organic mushrooms, and some lamb. So there are more vegetables in here than there is meat or protein, but you know, I'm going to just try it out and see how it goes. I'm letting the vegetables actually season themselves first. And so what I'm gonna do next, before I put my onion and my kale in there, those are gonna be last. I'm gonna put in my dry seasonings, then I'm gonna put in my wet seasoning. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the blend that has the salt and pepper. I don't ever measure it out. I'm like Big Mama, right? I'm like Big Mama. Big Mama don't ever measure anything. But I just kind of season to taste, because I've cooked long enough to kind of know where I like my seasoning. Now the thing about it is I'm gonna let this cook for 8 hours, so you don't have to have as much seasoning. You can always add as you go along, or even afterward for the person's taste. But right now there's just salt and pepper in here. That's it, okay? So after my salt and pepper, I always like to go in, and then I like to put in my granulated garlic. I don't use garlic salt, garlic pepper sometimes, but never garlic salt, because I like to monitor and have control over my sodium. And so I don't choose to use salt in any kind of a blend other than pepper, because like I said, I like to keep control over that amount of sodium. So my dry seasonings, that's what makes my food so good. This is the onion powder. Everybody always says. Your food is seasoned so well, it's not overcooked. It just has a great flavor. My dry seasonings and my herbs is what really gives me the super edge. I wanted to go and put some of my oregano in this dish and maybe some thyme from my garden, but I didn't have time to harvest it, to pick it this morning, so it's gonna have to be left out. And plus, I wanna really taste and see how these flavors blend together. So now that I have my onion powder and my garlic, my granulated garlic, I'm then gonna go in with my feature seasoning, which is by a good friend of mine, Tiffany, and her husband, Chris Peterson. It's called Spice Genius. Y'all better get y'all some. This Spice Genius is everything. I use it on my fish, my beef, my lamb, my chicken, just seafood, everything. So Spice Genius is going to feature this dish. And that's why I didn't really want to over season with my other staples. But with my turmeric and my liquid aminos, those are staples that help me with my inflammation. So Chris's Spice Genius blend also satisfies my palate with most of my dishes, and it also is a medicinal blend of seasoning. So y'all go get y'all some Spice Genius, Spice Genius. Okay, so now that I've got all of my dry seasonings mixed in, I'm gonna show you what my pot looks like. Yummy, 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 yummy. Now this is gonna cook down quite a bit. I'm not intimidated by how many vegetables are in here based upon or in comparison to the lamb, because I know that it's all going to flavor each other and it's not going to overpower. So this is my lamb. So I've got a chunk of that dispersed throughout this mix. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle in and start tossing in my kale. So this is a curly leaf organic kale. Okay. And this curly leaf organic kale is going to give me the liquid that I need. So I'm not necessarily putting this kale in here for the flavor of kale. I'm actually using the kale to liquefy, because this pot liquor that's gonna come from this dish is going to be everything. I am going to eat and drink on this dish all week. So I'm really excited about how these blends are gonna go together. All of these vegetables and this meat is positive for my blood type, and so I'm really excited to create it, and I hope it tastes amazing so that I can do it again. We're going into the fall, and the fall months, more hearty dishes are appropriate because it's not supposed to be as hot outside. But I'm just embracing this no sugar, and I don't know when I'll put it back in. I'm not even sure. I'm just walking by faith, literally. I do have a plan. It's very strategic in how I grocery shop and purchase my foods. It is very strategic about the things I allow in my body. But as far as my blends and my recipes, sometimes I just have a whim and I go for it and it comes out great, then I write it down. Coconut aminos is what you see me sprinkling on here. I'm generous with my coconut aminos. Remember, I'm not putting any water or liquid in this dish. We're gonna allow that to seep from the vegetables and also from this lamb. I chose not to get a very fatty cut of lamb. It's really a modest cut of lamb, organic, free range, no antibiotic, farm raised. And so I am excited. I love lamb. That's one of my favorite red meats. I eat red meat probably twice a week. My blood type is O, and I don't eat a lot of it, but I do eat red meat. And my body's able to digest it well. I don't have a problem. People who have a blood type of A, they need to stay away from meat, especially red meat. So if you're wanting to know what your body should consume for nutrients using your food for medicine, you're going to make sure that you need to check your blood type. And your blood type will tell you what exactly is beneficial, what's neutral, and what you should avoid. So I'm loving this. What I did, since I added more kale, I went in and I seasoned with my dry seasonings. Re-seasoned with my dry seasonings. So now I'm gonna take my onion. Never been to chef school, so you chefs on here who might follow my feed, don't judge me for how I cut my vegetables. I get it done. My dad always says, girl, you're gonna slice your finger. Well, I'm gonna take a class one day, I guess. But I get it done. I love my knives. I really invest in my cutlery, and my utensils in my kitchen to make things easier. And so basically I just do a spindle slice and just cut as I go. Most time with my onions, I won't use a cutting board. I'm not afraid of my knife. I know how to use it and position my hands. I don't suggest it for an amateur. Use your cutting board and make sure that you protect your fingers. My fingers make my money. So I have to be very wise and skilled at what I do. These are organic onions as well. I chose a white onion with this dish because the yellow onion gives a little bit of sweetness, which I love, and it wouldn't be a problem. Red onion doesn't hold its firmness. I chose the white onion because of the firmness and the strong savoriness of a white onion. This dish only has one onion, and I normally go real heavy with my onion, but believe it or not, onion is a neutral root vegetable for my blood type, and so I'm trying to teach myself how to do onions in moderation. I love onions, I do. They just make everything taste better, and so I'm learning to do that in moderation. So this is looking interesting. I know it's going to taste amazing. I may put some coconut cream in here, like some heavy coconut cream, just to add like a creamy base to it. But what I'm going to do, if that's the case, I'm gonna wait until a little bit later to add that. But for right now, I got my coconut aminos. I have my dry seasonings. You know what? I do have a cream I'm gonna put in here. I'm going to use a Green Goddess by Primal Kitchen. I'm gonna use their avocado, or you know what? I will use the avocado oil base, but I'll use the Greek marinade. So this is one that I use a lot of Primal Kitchen. It's a sugar-free base. It's good for paleo. So I'm going to choose this one. Oh gosh, I gotta get to work. I'm so late. Trying to do this video feed spontaneously. Cecily, I'm coming. You should be pulling up right now. And I'm right after you. And get you that style you've been looking for. But I really had to get this on because I want to make sure that I'm able to eat this for dinner tonight. So this is like a Greek, this is a Greek marinade that has an avocado oil base to it. So that's going to help because it's really asking a lot for this lamb to give the fat that this dish needs. So I'm adding in a liquid marinade to go along with it. So a little bit of a balsamic vinaigrette, and what you see in clumping together is a little bit of the avocado oil. Sometimes the oil and vinegar, those of you all who do a lot of dressings and marinades, they will separate. And so you constantly have to emulsify them by shaking them. Anyway, this is what this dish is looking like right now. I'm gonna put it on, cook it low. I got my kale, I have beets, rutabaga, also have a turnip, portobello mushrooms, onions, kale, and lamb. So I can't wait to taste it. I will show you guys what that looks like later.